Hi, today we're going to recap some of the things we learned on last time. We were able to talk about factors. Factors are numbers being multiplied to make a product, okay? And the result of multiplication is called the product. So multiplication is the way of repeated addition to make getting to the answer faster, right? Instead of going one by one, we multiply to get to a number faster. But now we're talking about factors so that we can look at these math facts. Okay, all these names kind of play together so that we can get to answers faster. Okay, so in just a moment, we're going to go ahead and look at the level 1 facts, what I like to call level 1 facts, because they are numbers less than 100 that have only 2 factors. Okay, so stay tuned. We are going to go ahead and look at those factors. Okay, so let's take a look at our factors, which are numbers that multiply to give us a product. So the number 4 is the very first composite number. And so we didn't really talk about composites last time, but composite is just a category or the type of number that we are looking at. So to be composite, you need to have be a number that has at least 2 factors. So a composite number is a number that has 2 or more factors. Okay. So opposing that, we have what's called a prime number. A prime number only has 1 factor because we do not consider 1 as a factor. 1 is like a mirror. If you multiply against the mirror or you go in front of a mirror, you're going to get back exactly what you put in front of the mirror. So when we multiply a number by 1, you're getting this very same thing. So there we don't consider 1 to be a factor. So 1 is not even considered a prime number or a composite number. 1 is a very unique number. Okay, so when it comes to factors, if you have 2 or more factors, it is composite. But if you only have 1 factor, we call it prime. Okay? All right, so we have 2 classifications of numbers, composite or prime. So we don't want to be confused what kind of number we're looking at. So the only things we're going to be looking at today are composites. And these are level 1 composites because they only have 2 factors. Okay, so it makes it simple. There's no other way to break down these type of numbers. And the ones that we're talking about are going to be less than 100. And they only have 2 factors. So let's get into it. We have 4, which has factors 2, times 2. 6 is a result of 2 times 3. 9 is a result of 3 times 3. Now, do you remember what the result of multiplication is called? Last time we talked about it, and we called it what? That's right, a product. So the answer or the result that I'm talking about, the number at the top of our factor tree, is the product. Now you may have learned about numbers and products or multiplication a little bit differently. I know I did. When I was coming up, we did learn math facts, but we learned them after we learned about numbers. Now I'm telling you that these numbers have special classifications, and we can start looking at them immediately before we learn multiplication. Okay? We understand multiplication as facts because that's how we get to a number faster. So the reason why this is the first lesson is because we want this understanding, this theory to be clear before you start delving deeper into more topics. Okay, so we left off at 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 7 is 21. Now, I'm not going to say times too much because we're not really talking about multiplication so much as we are talking about factors. So I want you to learn these factors because they do not change. And there's only 2 of them for these type of numbers. Okay? So let's talk about the factors of 22. The factors of 22 is 2 and 11. The factors of 25 is 5 and 5. The factors of 26 is 2 and 13. Maybe I should write that a little bit better. A little bit big. The factors of 33 are 3 and 11. The factors of 34 is 2, I should say are 2 and 17. The factors of 35 are 5 and 7. The factors of 38 are 2 and 19. Okay, so these are the first 14 composites, which I like to call level 1, because there's a couple other levels that I want to go into in the next, well, in later lessons. Okay, so I want to see if you can do the next set or the next 7 composites as an exercise. Okay, we have the number 39, the number 46, the number 49, 51, 55, 57, and 58. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and see if you can do this next set of composites. Okay, so we're back and we see that 39 has factors 3 and 13. 46 has factors 2 and 23. 49 has factors 7 and 7. 51 has factors 3 and 17. 55 has factors 5 and 11. Number 57 has factors 3 and 19. And 58 has factors 2 and 29. So it would be good to memorize these facts. This is very important part of realizing the roots of numbers. I mentioned that earlier, and it's going to become more important as we go along. Okay, I want you to also notice that the factors that make up these composites are prime. Okay, these are prime numbers. So the factor trees are a display of prime factors of a composite number. Okay, I'll say that again. So factor trees are a representation of prime factors that make up a composite number. Okay, so we're looking at composite number, the big picture on top, and then the little roots are prime numbers. Okay, so let's look at some of these numbers here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight them with red. See, we see 2 is a prime number. 3 happens a lot. It's also a prime number. 5 is a prime. 7 is a prime. 11 is a prime. 13 is a prime. 17 is a prime number. 19 is a prime number. 23 is a prime number. And 29 is a prime number. So I want you to notice that there are prime numbers associated with these composites. Another thing I would like you to notice is that there are other 2 categories of numbers. Okay, so a number can be considered even or odd. Okay, so an even number is a number that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So even number ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So then on the other hand, the other 5 digits in our number system 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are called odd numbers. Okay? So in our number system, we have 10 digits, 0 through 9. And so the numbers that end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 are called even numbers. And the numbers that end in 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are called odd numbers. So I want to make sure we talk about that classification of odd and even numbers as well. Okay? Because that's important, and it's a good way to speed up the process in doing these factors. So before I even do the next set of level 1 composites, I want you to be aware of this information, aware of this fact that there are different types of numbers, even and odd. So I'm going to show you which ones are even, which ones are odd. And just by the definition, you'll start to see the pattern. So 4 is even, 6, 10, 14. Those are even numbers in this first row. In the second row, we have 22, 26, 34, and 38 as even numbers. On the third row, we have 46 and 58. Those are our only even numbers on that row. So, like I said, the even numbers are the ones that end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And the odd numbers end in 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. Okay? All right. Now let's get to the rest of our factors, and that will conclude this lesson. Okay, so here are the remaining math facts less than 100 that have only 2 factors. So 62 has factors 2 and 31. 65 has factors 5 and 13. 69 has factors 2 and 23. 74 has factors 2 and 37. 77 has factors 7 and 11. 82 has factors 2 and 41. 85 has factors 5 and 17. On this next row, 86 has factors 2 and 43. 87 has factors 3 and 29. 91 has factors 7 and 13. 93 has factors 3 and 31. 94 has factors 2 and 47. 95 has factors 5 and 19. Okay, so I want you to also notice other prime numbers that are inside of these factors. 31 is a prime. 37 is a prime. 41 is a prime number. 43 is a prime number. And 47 is a prime number. Now those they're all these factors are prime, but I just noticed or notated the ones that we have not talked about, the prime numbers that are included in the first 100 composite, okay? The first level of composites, okay? So this concludes this lesson, part 2 of factors, lesson 1, and I'll hope to see you next time. Bye for now.